Hello and welcome to Cereal at Midnight. Today I'm coming at you from Disney's Hollywood Studios. I love this park. This park is a huge part of my childhood. I believe this park is one of the reasons I'm the movie fan that I am today. We're gonna go inside, check it out, and I'm gonna show you what I love about Hollywood Studios. It starts right here at the entrance of the park with a recreation of the crossroads of the world as seen in Hollywood, but of course this is a different version because we've got Mickey right up there on top of the globe. This park, this entire park, is a tribute to the Hollywood, not the Hollywood that was, but the Hollywood that never was, the Hollywood of imagination, the Hollywood of movie magic. Remember my advice to always get a park map, because the park is probably not going to be the same the next time you're here. Every time you get one of these maps, it could be the last document of the park you're visiting at that time. I don't mean anything sinister by that. I just mean that the parks are constantly in a state of evolution and that attractions come and go, shows come and go, and you can never assume that it's going to be there the next time you're here. In times past, places like Tinseltown Photos were an opportunity for you to have your photos taken, but also an opportunity to tip the hat to classic movie stars like Clark Gable, like Cary Grant. There was so much movie history in this park. Now, of course, over time, the park has continued to evolve. They've added Star Wars, they've added Aerosmith. The Hollywood as it never was is a smaller part of the park than it used to be, but it's still here for people willing to look. It all starts with the theming here. Replicating classic buildings from Hollywood history, Los Angeles history, the palm trees. It really does bring the magic of the movies to life. And I'm here on an overcast day. There's certainly thunderstorms in the forecast, but the magic is still pretty bright for me. Let's talk for a second about the concept of weenies. It was a term Walt used to use in his Imagineering, his ideas for creating attractions and theme parks. The idea was to have something at the end of a street that would draw you toward it. It would keep the crowd moving and it would keep things flowing. And of course the weenie, the central weenie of Hollywood Studios, is this full-size recreation of the Chinese theater as seen in Hollywood. This is a one-to-one, full-scale recreation of the Chinese theater. Of course, there are a few differences, which we'll look at in just a second. This theater was once home to the Great Movie Ride. Again, one of the reasons that I love movies. Now it is home to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, a great attraction. I love this attraction, but it didn't have to replace the Great Movie Ride. I know the Great Movie Ride was getting a little bit long in the tooth, but I miss it, and I always will. Just looking at some of the names, the people that have put their handprints and signed their name on the Hollywood Walk. Now, it's not the same as the walk, you know, the actual Chinese theater with the names, the handprints, and the concrete there. These are different. I mean, some of them are the same, but there's so much movie history there. Movie history that's kind of lost at this point, but Disney was absolutely there at the start of this thing in the late 80s and the early 90s. Movies like Dick Tracy, movies like The Rocketeer really engendered a love of classic movies from the 1930s, the 1940s, even into the 1950s. That's a very specific thing. And this park was a love letter to all of that. And like I said, it's kind of become a little diminished over time, but it's still here for people that want to get a little bit further away from Star Wars and Aerosmith and all that stuff. The movie love continues with the sci-fi Dine In, which is basically a recreation of a drive-in movie theater. Your seat is a car. You're watching trailers from the 50s, specifically science fiction movies, horror movies. The Baseline Tap House used to be the writer's stop, but when they reorganized this whole area of the park, they made some changes. It's no longer the writer's stop, which is primarily, sort of coffee, drinks, and things like that. But inside, there is a tribute to the writer's stop. CWRITERS. They've kept the letters from the old sign that used to be up here when it was different, and it's inside. I love those little carryovers, carrying tradition forward. These dinosaur footprints in the pavement can mean only one thing. Dinosaur Gertie has arrived. Gertie is a tribute to early animation. The Gertie character, I believe, was introduced in the teens, the dawn of a certain kind of animation. Yep, here we go. Here's the history right here. 1914, projected life-size onto a screen that shared the stage with the creator Winsor McCay. This theme style of building is known as California Crazy. I love, see, that's another thing, classic vintage Americana, popular in the 1930s. So whenever you pass this is not the Loch Ness Monster. This is Gertie, and she's a legend. You guys, I cannot impress upon you what a huge deal Star Tours was when it opened, and in the 90s, for the longest time, it was the closest Star Wars nerds were ever able to get to Star Wars. And now there's the whole Galaxy's Edge land area of Disney. Look at that. It's amazing. 10 minutes? Let's do it. That was amazing, and I was the Rebel Spy. If you've been on the ride, you know that there's a Rebel Spy. But I got Lando. There's always a Star Wars character that comes in, it's part of the ride, right? I got Lando, and he looks at 3PO, and he's like, "Hey, 3PO, it's good to see you." And then he looks at R2, and he's like, "And you too, R2." And they're like, "Beep." It's like, how nice. That's more genuine character interaction between legacy characters than I think we got in the entire sequel trilogy. I thought it was great. I've never seen Lando in the ride before, and I also really do like the way they've done Star Tours now, where it's randomized and it's rarely the same 2 times in a row. Believe it or not, the Backlot Express restaurant is full of theming and relics from the late 80s, early 90s. This used to be sort of a tie into the Backlot tour that they would do, going back to when this was MGM Studios and there was a heavy movie connection. This was said to be a functioning movie studio. Never really was. I mean, it was. The Golden Girls house was here. A lot of other things, but tons of movie stuff. Let's check it out. So here's a lot of stunt photos. Here's Return of the Jedi. There's Billy D. Williams on the Jabba's skiff scene. And inside this office, which you can't actually get inside, but tons and tons of Disney Easter eggs and Imagineering Easter eggs too. The door is always locked. Look at these blueprints. Those are actual blueprints for this park. Some of this stuff's been sitting here like this since 1989. Or thereabout. Might have been here after, but park opened in '89. And this was one of those early, the Backlot tour was one of those early attractions. Now over here used to be the Muppets area. It's now behind a wall because it's going away. Muppet Vision 3D is gone as of the recording of this video. And this is all going to be a Monsters Inc., Monsters University land. It's a tough blow for people like me who grew up with this park and have our own memories of our own childhoods here. I'm cool with you, Mike and Sully, but you took my Muppets away. And I'm sad about it. But that's what it's gonna look like eventually. Now listen, man, we're at Galaxy's Edge. I love Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars kid. I grew up with Star Wars. My problem with Galaxy's Edge is that it all takes place in the sequel trilogy. It's beautifully themed, it's incredibly well constructed, but in this timeline, it is only the Kylo Ren era or afterward. There are no legacy characters, there are no legacy stormtroopers, there's nothing here that connects to the original trilogy or to the prequel trilogy. Now look, I get it. At the time of the creation of this land, they were making the sequel trilogy. Disney wanted to recoup their investment and also promote those movies. But the problem is it's frozen in time now, and those of us that love the first two trilogies get none of that here. It's 1/3 of the Star Wars universe. Case in point, you go on Flight of the Falcon. Well, that's not Han's Millennium Falcon anymore. He's gone. But wouldn't you like to drive the Falcon with people you don't know? With Hondo Ohnaka giving you your orders? It's a huge missed opportunity in my opinion. So it's totally the First Order. No Empire here. Just the First Order. Kylo Ren.
Awaiting your orders.
I just wish that there was original trilogy and prequel trilogy presence here in the parks. Outside, I guess Star Tours is it. Star Tours is our anchor to the Star Wars as it was. You're not going to see Darth Vader over here. You're not going to see any of the Jedi. Obi-Wan. This commitment to the sequel trilogy is holding this land back. Like Obi-Wan was holding Anakin back. Obi-Wan is holding me back! If you want to head into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters, you could hop into one of these land speeders. I don't know how well they run. George Lucas's used universe really does translate wonderfully in this land. And when it comes to theming and growing with the times, the Toy Story area here is a huge... Ooh, look at those clouds. Huge shot in the arm for this park because even the bathrooms are beautifully themed. I just noticed the empty Buzz Lightyear box up on the top of that building. That entire command center is so fun and makes me feel like a kid. I was not a kid when Toy Story came out, but it captures the feeling of being a kid and playing with your toys. Well done. You want to know my favorite thing about Toy Story? My favorite character? These guys. I love these aliens. Ooh, the claw. But do you leave it in the package or do you unbox it? So we're talking about weenies in the park and things to keep you drawn forward, keep you walking forward. Well, we have Buzz on one side of this land, we have Woody on the other side. Those are weenies to draw you further into the park. These clouds are telling me that it's gonna rain. This archway used to be the gateway to the animation area, the animation courtyard that really taught animation, and you got to see animators working. Now it's sort of an unused part of the park, unless you're into Star Wars character meet and greets. But I will say, definitely check out The Little Mermaid: A Musical Adventure. It's a live show that this building was dormant for years. This show is back, and it's fantastic. Another movie connection. We're running out of light very quickly, so I just want to point out a few things. This is a replica of a statue that's in Hollywood. Everything that's here is connected to Hollywood history or Walt Disney history, or both. The theaters, the restaurants, the Brown Derby doesn't exist anymore, but here it still does. So as we walk down Sunset Boulevard, or the Sunset Boulevard here at Hollywood Studios, I leave you with a question. Do I love this park so much because I'm a movie fan, or am I a movie fan because of this park?